Howdy y'all, it is Sunday, March 27th, and it looks like the chickens finally broke that top straw bale, so they've been having fun playing with it and making a little bit of a mess, but just extra bedding, so I'm not complaining. I brought the chickens a little snack here. They've never been big on snacks, so they might not want it, but we'll see. Just a little leftover pair. Actually got on it pretty quick. Usually they stare at it for 10 minutes first. All right, note to self, the chickens really like bears. Whenever you got trash laying around your coop, baling twine is a nasty one, but if a chicken were to get up here, start scratching around, and then somehow get it twisted around their leg, it could really do some damage. So we've seen some bad things with baling twine in chickens in the past, so we always want to make sure that you get all of that out, so that way they can't hurt themselves. There's another string on there, but looks like that one's on there pretty well at the moment, so I'll just leave it so it doesn't completely bust. But yeah, you just want to make sure you clean up all the trash around your coop so your chickens can't eat it or get tangled up in it. Howdy everyone, today is March 29th and it is still cold outside, so not very motivating to get things done, but it's spring, it is what it is. So the bees will be coming in about a week, so I do have to get the location of their hive done, and I also need to bring some more chicken food out and put it in the bucket out here because this bucket is finally empty, so they have 2 more bags hanging out. So I'll bring those out and fill that up. And then while I was sitting out here, I was kind of looking around at the chickens, and Doodle Doo, the other rooster, somehow chipped the end of his beak. I'm not really seeing any evidence of them fighting or anything, so he might have just pecked something too hard. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of sleuth around and see if I can figure out what's going on, but let me see if I can. Chicken just pecked my hand. Let me see if I can get a video of it for you to see what I'm seeing. Okay, well, he was moving around a little too much to get a video of him, but here's a picture. You can see the end of his beak is just chipped off ever so slightly. Alright, I've looked around and I don't really see any signs of where Doodle Doo could have potentially chipped his beak. Maybe on the hardware cloth if he was raking it back and forth. This little metal trash can is probably the only other hard thing that I have in the coop that he could have been, you know, pecking at trying to get. But I'm not worried about it. It'll grow back, but just in case, keep an eye on it. It's just a little itty bit, so it's not affecting how he eats or drinks or anything, so I'm not really that concerned about it, but just curious as to how it happened. Plugged the heat lamp in while I was out here, and these chickens are all huddled around it like they're freezing. Howdy y'all, today is March 31st and I have some bad news. When I came out to the coop, it was a big surprise. There was a chicken just dead in the middle of the coop. So I'll look the chicken over here in a little bit, just to see if I can reel out if there's any fighting, foul play between the chickens, but I don't think that was the case. It was the runt of the litter, I guess, as you'd say. It was just the smallest chicken I had. Wasn't really growing very much. It was considerably smaller than the rest, so could just be a failure to thrive kind of thing. guys, it's April 1st. Let's hope we don't find any surprises in the coop today. And okay, it looks like we're good. Let me open it up and get in there. Hey chickens, everybody live, doing good? Looks like it. All right, well that's good. Alright, I did open up a little bit more on this plastic. It's getting cold tonight, but I think more airflow is going to help the chickens out. So once I get all the power tools out, I'll start actually unscrewing all these pieces over here, holding in things, and also on the bottom. But for now, that should help them out a little more. Howdy everyone, today is April 2nd and it's rainy out, so not much going on out with the chickens. So I thought I would go ahead and give you guys a little tour of everything that's going to be in the beehive. So we'll start with all these little supplies down here. Alright, so up first are these little traps. So these are for small hive beetles. You fill this up with just oil at the bottom, and these little beetles that like getting in the hive, they'll crawl into that, fall, and suffocate in the oil. So they came in a really big pack. I'm not going to need all of these, but to use these, flip you around here, all you do is pop it in like that. Beetles will crawl around, fall, and die. The bees can't get in there, so totally safe. Easy and chemical-free way to get rid of those pests. So the next really handy tool is simply called a hive tool. It's kind of like a little mini crowbar that's kind of sharp on the end here. So once the bees get inside the hive, they're going to kind of glue it down with something called propolis. So it's going to get really hard to get the frames and the boxes apart, and this just also kind of helps clean some of that off, pry it off. So it's a very handy tool right here. This thing was kind of a freebie that came with the hive in the package. I don't really plan on using this that much. You can kind of see inside there, there's little tabs. So basically the bees can go up through this little hole and crawl out, but they can't get back in. So I probably won't be using this, but just kind of a extra little tool I have on hand if needed. These two things right here are simply just feeders. So the lids come out and it'll fit a mason jar. So it has a bunch of little holes in it. So that way the bees can come up and drink sugar water, because when I first get them, they're not going to have any sort of honey reserve or anything. So they're going to need some fast food quick. So I have this is actually one of my chick waters, and it actually screws on perfectly. So I'm gonna fill this up with sugar water and then pop this in, and underneath here the bees can just come in and get a drink from that lid. Alright, I'm sure you're wondering what the heck this green frame is. This is called a drone comb. So you can kind of see the difference between the two cells. So the green has much bigger cells than this black sheet here. The cells are a little smaller. So drones are laid in bigger cells, and then the workers are laid in the smaller cells. So the drone comb, you can't take it out. It's just straight plastic, and you put one frame in a box, and what happens is the queen will come in and only lay drones, start growing before they get capped over, little mites, the varroa mites, will jump in and start reproducing. So they really love drone cells. So this is just a good approach to help combat varroa mites, which will kill a colony pretty quickly, either with disease or just the mite itself. So once this is all full of drone capped over, you want to remove this from the hive and freeze it or scrape it off and just get rid of it all. So yes, you are killing some drones, but you're going to be getting rid of a ton of mites. So this is really helpful for that. No chemicals involved, which is another great reason to use it. So this is what it looks like in the hive. I think you guys already saw a quick overview of that, but you just take out one of your normal frames and pop in a drone comb. Okay, you guys already know what this is because I kind of gave you a little sneak peek in an earlier video. This was what I got when I went to that monthly bee meeting, and that lady just gifted it to me. So this is my smoker. You can take this little clip off and then it gets to work. So you can pop it open and put in whatever you need. I'm probably either going to be using pine needles or bedding. We'll see whatever I have on hand. You can also buy smoker pellets and all sorts of other things. Inside there's a little piece here you can see. It just pops up so that way you get a little more air down in there. I don't know if you can see the hole, but so that helps give it a little bit more air to breathe. And that's the smoker. And I think you guys know what this is. This is my bee suit. I think I got a large. I'll put it on and get a picture of me in it, but they were kind of out of all my sizes, and I like this style the best because you can see out of the veil on any side. And yeah, it's just a jacket. I didn't get the full suit because one, that's going to be really hot, and two, I'm just not that worried about having bee-proof pants. So I don't have gloves at this point either. We'll see. Maybe I'll get them, maybe I won't. I'm gonna try working without them for a while, and then if I find I'm getting stung too much, then I'll get gloves. But I think I'm not gonna be able to feel as well, and then I might kill more bees if I'm using gloves, so we'll see. I'm not really that worried about getting stung, but I definitely wanted something for my face because I don't want bees flying around and bothering me. So alright, so now for the layout of the hive. I have a solid bottom board. I will probably switch that out to a screen bottom board after a couple months, just so I get a little more airflow. It'll also help with some pests, so that way they can kind of drop out. I'm going to start with one brood box, just because the bees don't need my entire hive that I have set up for them yet. So once they get this going and starting to get full, then I'll add another deep body on top, and then once that's full, I'll add on a honey super, which is that smaller box that I have. I probably won't get to that this year. We'll see how well the bees do. Not anticipating getting honey this year. If I do, great, but if I don't, no worries. So that's kind of the plan on that. Once I do put the honey super on, there's this thing, which you guys have seen before, and this is called a queen excluder. So some beekeepers use it, some don't, but you just put it on top of your box there, and you put your honey super on top of that, and that way the queen can't fit through those little slots, so she can't start laying eggs in the honey, because that would be kind of gross. So probably won't need it this year. I'm just gonna let the queen kind of have free reign of wherever she wants, unless the colony is really strong, and then I might get some honey. Then I would go ahead and use that. So that is that part. After that, this is the inner cover right here, so that's going to go on top next. It's basically for ventilation. That little plastic piece that I showed you guys, this thing, you can pop that in there, but keep your bees from coming in or out. There's specific times you'd use it, you wouldn't use it all the time. But the inner cover is just kind of a little more ventilation, and then you stack that on top. And then from there, you have the outer cover, which is this big thing here, and then that goes on top. That's kind of what the first year hive or starter hive is going to look like. The bottom, not the queen excluder in there. I think I left that in, but that won't be in there. So you have the bottom, a deep, and then as the colony grows, I'll add another deep. And then if I happen to have a strong colony, I'll put the super on and get honey this year. But like I said, if I don't get honey, I'm not worried about it. So that's kind of what it'll look like on the front end here. I have a mouse guard, so you can pop this down in the fall because mice will want to get in here and eat the honey, find a nice place for winter. So you can pop that down. The bees can still get through these holes just fine. I probably won't use it right off the bat because they won't need it, and I'm going to have those feeders sitting in here, so that's going to hog up a lot of room. They also gave me this in the kit, and you guys saw that too. So it's basically an entrance reducer, so you can use that for a lot of things. Obviously you get more bees going in and out through here. There's the smaller little hole here, so if there's robbing or something, there's just all sorts of different things and times that you would or wouldn't use some of these things. You don't have to use it at all. A lot of it's just situational. But and this is the bee suit, guys. So I really like the veil on this one because you can see all around, no worries. And it's going to be a lot cooler too versus the one that's kind of like a hoodie back. So I like that this is a little more breathable. It's got plenty of pockets, which is great. You've got little thumb straps for if you were wearing gloves, you can put your gloves over it. You don't have to worry about your sleeves sliding down on you. It's got really nice tight around the waist, so it's good. It's a little big, but like I said, it's a large. They didn't have my size, and I wanted to make sure I got this bee suit that I wanted because they were kind of running low in stock. So it's fine, but it's gonna get dirty really quick. This is bright white, but really happy with it, and I'm excited to get started.